Please welcome to the stage Ryan Anderson.
How you doing? Today, you're all at a DAC conference. We're talking about CO2, carbon removal maybe. So instead I'm gonna talk about hydrogen, because clearly you're interested. So we, Parallel Carbon, have a new DAC technology. It is a hydrogen co-producer. That's interesting and weird. Hydrogen is the bane of everyone in carbon capture's existence because it's really expensive. Everyone wants to make e-fuels with your DAC, right? Because then you could start displacing fossil fuels and find other revenue streams that aren't CDR, which are maybe potentially more commoditized, easier to buy. But hydrogen is just so expensive. It's in your way. We co-produce hydrogen in a cost-effective way from the same renewable power that someone else making hydrogen from water electrolysis on a site wants to use to make their e-fuels. So today we're talking about our reliable, secure, and simple co-production process. So this is a little bit older, but at its core, this is what our projects are going to look like. We have an electrolyzer that we've designed. It's a new membrane-free electrolyzer that we're using to split water, but also splits a salt into acids and bases, which get used in a water treatment process that we use with a mineral sorbent. Now, it looks really complicated and weird. The reason it's so weird is because we are intentionally decoupling direct air capture from the energy used in the process, meaning that 99% of the energy in our process goes into our electrolyzer. We run that electrolyzer intermittently, which means we can run the entire thing on solar and wind power whenever solar and wind power are cost effective. The process is designed to run off-grid or behind the meter with these low-cost renewable power assets, and at the same time, we can actually produce CO2 24/7 without power, essentially. The reason this is also exciting and possible is because our CapEx equipment is very low cost. You guys are all familiar with Heirloom. This is very kind of in that same vein, passive minerals sorbent on trays. We're just treating them instead of a high temperature kiln or calciner in the middle. We use acids and bases that we're making with our electrolyzer in a liberation process to liberate that CO2, and then we're regenerating our sorbent. This is all done in water at ambient temperatures, which just makes the process very low cost. If you're interested in the chemistry, I'm happy to get into it. I won't bother too much. Air comes in, water is used through a little evaporation, power comes into this electrolyzer. Otherwise, it's a closed loop, 2 loops. We have calcium hydroxide going into our air contactor, coming out as calcium carbonate, and the acids and bases come out of our electrolyzer to produce the CO2 from the calcium carbonate, and then we just put that electrolyte right back into the electrolyzer. This is, at its core, a green hydrogen or water electrolysis process with 10 to 20% extra CapEx, and with that 10 to 20% extra CapEx, we're doubling or tripling the revenue. So at its core, that means, there we go, that we're producing the feedstocks from renewable power for e-fuel production. That's e-SAFs, e-methanol, potentially even carbon-negative ammonia, depending on if it's a blue ammonia site that's taking the CO2 and injecting it underground. We can supply all these projects to unlock carbon-negative e-fuels. We're excited by that. That's a very interesting proposition that nobody really wants to buy right now. So we're trying to figure out how to pair up CDR and fuel buyers together. So if you're an interested kind of person, let's chat about that. And finally, what this means for the future is at our sites, because we can make hydrogen so cost effectively, we become a feedstock supplier for e-methanol production in a way that is working towards cost parity with historic methanol prices. There's a little bit of a lazy forecast, but extrapolation of PPI adjusted methanol prices over time, we see a pathway towards our first of a kind being somewhat cost effective for renewable power with our nth of a kind fully cost effective. I'll leave it there. Happy to talk after Parallel Carbon. Thanks.